Hello and welcome to another Star Wars review here. And today, whenever you're watching this, I'm going to be reviewing last night's episode of Star Wars Rebels Season 4. This is episode 9. It's called Rebel Assault. And I'm surprised that they only did one episode tonight. They have been doing two, but hey, maybe they just thought that this episode was set up for the season finale. I believe the season finale is next week. If I'm wrong, correct me. But before I get into the review, I have to say a spoiler alert, so definitely consider yourselves warned on all things spoilers for Season 4 up to this point, Episode 9. And also, if you enjoy this and want to see more like this in the future, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button and get notified every time I put up a new video. With that being said, let's get into the review. So, Rebel Assault. I personally think that this is a really good episode. It's pretty much what we've been building up to all this season. It's the assault on Lothal by the rebels. Obviously, the Empire has the blockade around Lothal, and the rebels are led by Hera in a space battle. And, the rebels on the ground, they take out the anti-air cannons, the air defense cannons that the Empire has set up there. But Thrawn finally for this season at least, finally does a Thrawn type of thing where you have the TIE Defender, which is kind of his prized possession, his best weapon against the rebels, at least, that isn't his intellect and that isn't his prowess. You have the TIE Defender, and he pretty much shoots at the TIE Defender. He shoots at Hera Syndulla and at the TIE Defender at the same time because the TIE Defender pilot didn't listen to him, and so he was like, you know what, fine, we'll just shoot them both down. So that's something that I was really happy to see Thrawn finally doing something Thrawn-esque in this season. And he defeats the rebels in space. He shoots them down. It's a great shot where you see the rebels on the ground, Kanan, Ezra, and all those guys. They turn around and they see the X-wings and the Y-wings. They're like crashing down. They're burning down through the sky. It looks really awesome. And so all the pilots, they get shot down, obviously. And the second half of this episode is really good because it's Hera and one other X-wing pilot and their struggle to escape the city, and also choppers along with them. And it's really cool because you have some really cool action. You have some really cool things. I think it's a really good episode. I think it's the best episode this season. If I'm just being honest, I don't see any faults with this particular episode. Now, I do have faults with some of the things in this season that is just the through line, like the talking wolves. I don't really like them. But the space battle is great. We get, it's great to see that Thrawn finally acts the way Thrawn should. We get a really cool more fight scenes with Rukh, Thrawn's Noghri assassin guy, and he might be the best part of the episode in my opinion. I think he's really cool. Like, Thrawn is awesome, Hera's cool, the rebels are great, but I do think that Rukh I think he brings a presence on the ground that is just as menacing as a Jedi. And I think that that's something that we've lacked since the Inquisitors are not here, or at least in this season so far. I feel like we have somebody who can actually go up against the Jedi and maybe possibly win. So let's talk about this space battle for a minute. Hera leads the battle for the rebels, and obviously Thrawn leads the Imperials. I very much like that Thrawn is a different type of character, where you have somebody like Hera who is inside the X-wing. She is, out there with her people. She's out there flying alongside of the other X-wings, of the Y-wings. She's very hands-on in her leadership, and that's really cool. And Thrawn, on the other hand, he's back. I believe he's in a Star Destroyer. He's looking at the whole battle through, the map that the console that is in front of him. He's seeing the battle. He's seeing everything. He's getting all the information, and I Thrawn Thrawn is bad. Like, I keep saying this, but it's, to me it's really true that Thrawn is finally doing something that is Thrawn-esque in the fact that he lets the ties go out first. And to me, I was just like, "Oh, of course. In chess, the pawns go out first. They're your least important things. Yes, they can do damage. Yes, they are good in a fight, but you let the ties go out first. You let the pawns go out first." And but that's not their only defense. Then he lets the TIE Defender go out first, the one that is very heavily upgraded with better cannons and better, actual shields. And even that's not the last defense. It's so cool because you have your pawns going out first, then you have your second wave of defense going out next, and the TIE Defender isn't even Thrawn's, it's not even his second to last defense. It's so cool. The defender, it is supposed to draw them. It is supposed to push the X-wings and the Y-wings towards the blockade of ships, because the ships are way more equipped and have a way better chance of shooting down these things than even the TIE Defender has, because they have so many more cannons. And so it's so cool to see how cerebral Thrawn is in that. Send out the ties, then you send out the TIE Defender to push your people into the trap. I'm telling you, lambs to the slaughter is how he wanted it to happen, and it worked. But like, it was so cool because what happens was the TIE Defender, he didn't, the pilot didn't want to give up the chase on Hera Syndulla. Okay, so Thrawn shot him too. It's something that's so very much Thrawn. And even the blockade is not the last line of defense, because some of the X-wings and some of the Y-wings get past the blockade and go down to Lothal, and what do they run into? They run into swarms of TIE fighters down there, and so they have to go through four different defenses. They have to go through four different waves of defenses. That is something that is absolutely Thrawn, because he knows that, yes, even though you could have a great blockade around a planet, some ships are going to get through, but Thrawn knows, hey, why don't I have somebody down there waiting for those ships to get through? Perfect. Shoots them all down, and then that leads up into the whole, Hera Syndulla and Discount Wedge and Chopper, them, trying to escape the city. So once all the pilots are shot down, Thrawn sends Rukh after the pilots, and he wants them alive, which is definitely something Thrawn would do. So Rukh is a great tracker. Honestly, I think he's a great sidekick, and Timothy Zahn, who first wrote him back in 1990. I don't quote me on that, but I think it was 1990. If I'm wrong, go ahead, tell me in the comment section down below. But anyways, Timothy Zahn did a great job with this character, and I think that the writers of the show, Dave Filoni and them, are doing a great job also, because he's a great sidekick. He's a great fighter. He can track anyone and everyone, and he's smart. And that's the thing. You can have like a big brooding guy, and they can be great fighters and they can beat up anybody. But if they're not smart, then then you don't really get attached to them. There's a couple times in this. Well, there's one time in this where Rukh, he gets Hera and her Discount Wedge, they pull out a gun on him, and he's like, okay, he's smart enough to realize that he maybe not won't be able to win that fight, and so he just jumps on the roof and gets out of there, and he's like, okay, pull back, let me come back later, let me reassess the situation, and let me get this done right the next time. And that's something that's really cool. We get some really cool fights between them. We get two really cool fights between him, Hera, Chopper, and Discount Wedge. I call him Discount Wedge because I can't remember his name, and he's a pilot, and I thought he was Wedge until they said his name. But he ends up capturing Hera, which is really cool. Because at the same time that Hera is trying to escape, you have your rebels. They leave, or they're leaving the city. But Kanan turns around. He's like, "Hey, I gotta go help my woman because that's how you do it." You know what I'm saying? He goes back, but he's stopped by the wolves, the talking wolves, which again don't particularly like them, and they're like, no, they're well, I mean, they say doom, and then he's like, okay, what do you want me to do? And then they take him to a hatch, which is where he helps out Discount Wedge to get back to where the rebels are hiding, and I know that it was a tough decision by him, by the character, to be like, okay, I'll listen to the wolves, even though I know that my waifu is over there and she's probably not going to end up in a good spot over there. I'll listen to the wolves. I'll help out Discount Wedge. And I mean, but like that was a tough decision, but I realized that the writers did that so they didn't have to kill Kanan too early off in the season. I think that if when they kill him, if they were going to kill him off in the first half of this season, they would do it probably in the how would you call it, the mid-season finale, I guess. Yeah, that's what it is. They would kill Kanan in the mid-season finale rather than the episode before the mid-season. Is next season the mid-season finale? Can anybody tell me that? I don't know. They don't have it up on Google yet. Sorry. But I understand why they didn't have Kanan go in there, because like Hera was in a horror, like she was captured no matter what, and so if Kanan tried to go in there, he probably wasn't going to end up any better. And so I understand why the writers had him go and help out Discount Wedge. But you guys, they have cool speeder bikes. Like Kanan just needs to join himself a biker gang and he will be all set. Dude has a nice looking chopper, a hover chopper, whatever you want to call it. He's got the ponytail for it. He's got the beard for it. I'm telling you, Hell's Angels, when you get an opening, look at Kanan Jarrus if he's still alive. Bringing this to a close, I want to talk a little bit about the speculation for the upcoming episodes. I think it's a great setup for the next episode. I think that Kanan is going to try to trade himself for Hera, but I don't know how Thrawn is going to handle that. It's a very interesting situation having a character like Hera being captured by the Empire. I tend to believe that Thrawn is going to to take her and put her on the Star Destroyer to keep to make it really difficult for the rebels to try to break her and the other X-Wing pilots out. I feel like if they leave her and the other X-Wing pilots on the ground on Lothal, then that makes it a little bit easier. And I feel like Thrawn is smart enough to know that, hey, if they're up here with me on a Star Destroyer, it's a lot harder to get up there and to get into a Star Destroyer and then to get out alive than it is to break into some prison on Lothal. So that's where I think that it's going to go. But, if Kanan doesn't trade himself in, then they're gonna try to break her out, which might not work out so well. That's either way, these characters are in a tight spot because Thrawn holds all the cards. And you guys, if you've read any of the Thrawn books, Legends or canon, you know that Thrawn tends to win when he has all the cards, and he wins even more so when he has all the information. And so it seems like Thrawn is in a very good spot and our rebels are in a very desperate situation. Now I don't think they have any ships and it looks like they're stuck on Lothal. I mean, if they break Hera out, then all they have to do is get to a Imperial ship, but easier said than done. But you never know. With 2 Jedi, almost anything is possible. But that's generally my thoughts on it. I think it's a great setup. I like where our characters are. I like where this seems to be going in this season. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it, though. I want to know what you think about this episode. If do you think like me that we should have got 2? I mean, come on, you give us 4 weeks of 2 episodes each, and then you're like, nah, just 1. So yeah, that's where I stand on it, but I want to know what you think. So definitely tell me your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or we have a new Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ccinemareviews page. So definitely check the channel out there. And we're also on Twitter @ccinemareviews. So wherever and whenever you want, tell me your thoughts anywhere, on those 2 platforms or here on YouTube. And like I said before, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this and want to see more like it in the future. Thank you for watching, and may the force be with you.